In tonight's top story, we continue to follow updates from the governor's office as we all battle the impacts of this pandemic. That the plane was coming from this direction, hit the trees, spun horizontally, and landed over here. I want to take you across the front lawn, though, so you can take a look at this wooded area. This is where search teams have been looking throughout the morning. The first shipments of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine have arrived in Kentucky. But I also want to show you over this direction, you can see just how far the river has pushed that water out. Carol Hill, you commented about they need to go vote. That's a good point that you brought up, and they're actually encouraging each other to do so. Here on live television, you couldn't see them coming past your screen. Now taking a look, you can actively see these white flakes falling. I don't even have to hold my glove up like I did earlier. Just after 8, Lexington police says it had to evacuate several local businesses because of a potential bomb threat. I want to go ahead and bring in Brandon Barber. He's been one of the organizers over the past 3 weeks of protests. He told me he wants conversation with police. Flying a drone can be compared to playing a video game. You've got your remote controller with joysticks to direct where you're going. Brown says he feels like people can barely walk out their front doors without being within arm's reach of their neighbors. Also this year, it's evident racial justice and equality is on the forefront of many voters' minds. If you find yourself reaching for a snack in between meals, Medrano says go for it. We've got our COVID-19 gear on because we're going to do a special experiment in honor of National STEM Day.
3, 2, 1, go. Almost, but she did it. Wow.
You guys couldn't see, but I closed my eyes. UK says they came in about the size of a pizza box. An emotional day as hundreds of people were at the mall this afternoon, and many of them shaken from today's experience.
They couldn't have been older than 20.
A moment of chaos followed by hours of evacuations and tension at Fayette Mall.
They started throwing punches.
This is the voice of Emily, who didn't want to show her face because she says she was within feet of the shooting, so she fears retaliation.
One of them got mad and said, I'll show you who the is now. And he pulled his gun and it was face level. He shot that man right in the head. He had to. And then they booked it and we all ran towards the back. And as we ran towards the back, they shut the gates and they shut us in the back room and they locked the door.
Emily says she was in Bath & Body Works when the fight broke out. As she ran to the back, she said she heard 4 shots.
So it was pow, 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 pow.
Lexington police confirmed it was an isolated shooting. Meanwhile, this is Linda. She says she was in Dillard's when she heard the shots.
Run. That was my emotion, and everybody was just trying to get out of there. It was hundreds of people.
Some people in the mall getting stuck inside as stores began to lock down. I spoke to one family off camera who was separated and reunited about an hour later. They say it was a traumatizing experience. Linda agrees.
Very traumatizing, and all we can do is just pray for the people that got shot, and that's it. We got to get better.
Get better, as in stop gun violence. Emily felt the same.
This is just stupid. Like, you've got your whole life and now it's gone. Like, that's so stupid. Just don't waste it.
You can hear her trembling as she says those words, and when I was talking to her, her hands were shaking, and she told me she probably won't get much sleep tonight. Now, Fayette Mall says they closed early because of the incident earlier today, and they expect to resume tomorrow at normal business hours. Live in Lexington, I'm Monica Harkins, ABC 36 News.
Who 5 years ago said, I see myself here in 5 years?
In an unprecedented time, Glenn Cox at the Bear and the Butcher in Lexington says he couldn't have predicted needing advanced cleaning technology.
Coming here, not only are you going to see people with masks and gloves and sanitizing properly, but we're taking it that next step with these UV fans.
UV fans, big ass fans in Lexington says was a right place at the right time invention.
We're experts in air movement and airflow, and we can provide a solution here.
The solution began long before the pandemic hit. A few years ago, the company worked on ultraviolet light projects to battle tuberculosis. So when COVID-19 came, it came up with a way to incorporate its fans with UV light to kill germs.
And the way the circulation patterns worked, right, you can filter basically every single bit of the air and circulate it back through so that you really get the maximum efficiency of that light fixture.
A light, a fan, disinfects the air. Outdoor seating is the choice of many customers right now, but Glenn Cox says he hopes with these fans and UVC lights cleaning the air inside, people will feel safe indoors too.
I mean, if you walk into a place and you don't feel safe, given the circumstances that we're in right now, I mean, I know myself, I've walked right out of a place before.
And with indoor seating capacity at 25%, Cox says he'll take anything he can get to help.
We're hanging tough.
In part, perhaps, because of what's hanging from the ceiling. In Lexington, Monica Harkins, ABC 36 News.
World has stopped. Learning does not.
School is a big part of life in the King family, and it was well before this pandemic. Area King teaches classes that help kids transition to college or a career, and his wife, Casey, is the registrar, both at Frederick Douglass High School. Add one high schooler and two middle schoolers.
So you really do, like she said, you have skin in the game. Not that we had never been there before, because we've always been involved with our students, with our children, not our students, our children.
They are your students now.
Exactly. So, actually being a part of that, I think there's going to be a lot of good memories come out of this for them.
More rural districts have used NTI, non-traditional instruction, often for years. But in Fayette County, where snow days aren't as frequent, this is the first time Fayette County public schools have turned to NTI for instruction, something the Kings say is fitting for a non-traditional time.
NTI is very necessary.
Initially confusing, now not at all. Like I said, there were a lot of kinks worked out that first week.
Understandably, that means mom and dad have to help out, especially when it comes to math.
Yes.
Lots of it.
Yeah. On 3 different grade levels.
Yeah.
So that's been interesting.
But on the bright side, their desk by day doubles as the game table by night. What's it like for 11-year-old Veda to spend more time with her parents?
I know even a lot, but
Her words. we didn't go hard to say that.
I know.
What do you think about it, though?
I really liked it. I like spending time with my family.
Veda says she misses seeing her friends, and online learning has its flaws.
Like sometimes it's hard to have a clear understanding of what the teacher wants us to do.
With the rest of this academic school year at home, a lot of parents don't know if the 2020-2021 school year will be more of this or back to in-person classes.
My hope is we go back.
Until then, the Kings will follow the recommended steps, even if it means stop, hammer time. In Lexington, Monica Harkins, ABC 36 News. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us on your Sunday night. I'm Monica Harkins. In tonight's top story, Fayette County Public Schools announced it's suspending all athletics and extracurricular activities except for high school football. In a letter to parents sent out just before 5 this afternoon, FCPS says it is not a reaction to a problem selectively with teams. An update from Clark County Schools just in this afternoon. It's canceling in-person hybrid learning until after Thanksgiving. We have a newly reported case count at its highest again for a Sunday. Well, it was obvious team members were feeling the impact of Schlarman's death. The former coach touched a whole community of Solid Blue fans. Also in UK news, the 33rd annual Big Blue Crush Blood Drive kicks off Monday. Each year, Kentucky fans battle against Tennessee. High winds could be a factor in several power outages across our viewing area this afternoon. Well, if you're trying to reach State Police Post 7 in the Richmond area, troopers say their phone line is down. Post 7 covers Boyle. Well, this morning, a pooch party. Yes, you heard that right. I'm just kidding talking about it. I wish I could have gone. McLeod's Coffee Shop partnered with Bluegrass Bully Rescue for the event. This at the coffee shop in Lexington earlier this morning. As you can see, tons of adorable fur babies up for adoption. I grew up with my dad playing golf, and I would, drive along in the golf cart. I can say I've never seen anything like that. The company says it smells like bacon and pairs with breakfast food. I don't know if I want beer with breakfast. That sounds really heavy.
I don't know. I like the bacon.
I like the bacon too.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. In tonight's top story, we continue to follow updates from the governor's office as we all battle the impacts of this pandemic. It was the first weekend of new restrictions to help slow the spread of the virus. And as you might remember from the spring, seeing a decrease in cases doesn't happen overnight. Some restaurants across Kentucky have decided not to follow the governor's new restrictions. One of those, Beans Cafe and Bakery in Grant County. In Lee County, the search continues for a missing 38-year-old veteran. Crossroads Church in Lexington collected 350 Thanksgiving food boxes this weekend. All eyes are on the COVID-19 vaccine. As you heard, we've got an experiment for your Thanksgiving holidays. A lot of people at home, kids at home. So we wanted to take this time to share with you a fun experiment you can do with your family. He's got some serious force behind his.
No. Oh,
yes,
whoa.
I got one.
So yes, we are launching. Monica, you okay over there?
I'm recovering. I'm going to have to get better, and we'll try again at 11. Thanks, Jason. Now look ahead to one of the biggest nights in music. I love to hear that we're drying out for Turkey Day. Everybody might be doing things differently, but the least we deserve is some good weather. We'll be back tonight at 11. AMAs are on at 8 right here on ABC 36.